The SEC has dropped its investigation into the Binance stablecoin BUSD as well as Stacks, the Bitcoin Layer 2 solution. This comes a couple weeks after they dropped the investigation against Ethereum. Is Gary Gensler capitulating? And the SEC SOB 121 situation gets really crazy as the SEC seems to be backtracking for their Wall Street buddies. And Germany has finally finished selling their Bitcoin. Does this mean Bitcoin will start moving up again? We're going to break this down and much more. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, we have to start by taking a look at the price of Bitcoin because Germany has officially run out of coins to sell. They are finished, guys. And this has been one of the factors that has been driving sell pressure and keeping Bitcoin down. And I say one, right? Part of it is just the market correction and the cycles playing out, and you have some Mt. Gox selling, but Germany was doing a significant amount of selling, folks. So Germany's government sells off all of its Bitcoin holdings totaling $2.9 billion. So that is a major catalyst that is being removed that was suppressing the price. So we could see Bitcoin start to move upwards. The RSI in the daily is still looking bullish. It looks like we've hit that bottom. And there's other factors like the DXY continues to crash. So we know there's an inverse correlation there. And the stock market, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ have been hitting new all-time highs. All of these things are conducive to higher prices for Bitcoin. But of course, the market cycles have to play out, right? Nothing can go up in a straight line. And you have to understand Bitcoin's going to climb out of this, higher highs, higher lows, and we will hit new all-time highs. We are still in a bull market, folks. And the smart money, the whales have been buying. So here we got details that BlackRock bought 2,076 Bitcoin, which is about $120 million. So over the past month or so, they've been buying and buying and buying. And not only them, a lot of inflows have been going into the ETF. So Hunter Horsley of Bitwise Asset Management tweeted out $28 million inflow into the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF today. Just today, he says $47 million total this week. And this is just this week. Last week, they reported on different days, one day, $30 million, the next day, $40 million, and so forth. Smart money buying the dip while retail is scared, saying the bull market's over. Same story, different cycle. I've seen it time and time again. And this is why I always tell you guys, look at the charts, look at the fundamentals, keep your emotions at the door. Let's move ahead, guys. Big day around the SEC. So Eleanor Terrett of Fox Business did a great job of summarizing this. She says, in the last couple of weeks, the SEC has closed their investigations into several crypto firms, including Consensus and the Ethereum investigation. And just yesterday, they dropped the BUSD stablecoin, which is the Binance stablecoin, which is issued by Paxos, saying it is not a security. And then Bitcoin Stacks. So Stacks is the layer 2 solution for Bitcoin, which is enabling smart contracts. I've had the founder Munib on the podcast, and he tweeted out the SEC drops a 3-year investigation into Stacks with no action. He says earlier this week, we received word from the SEC that after 3 years, they are terminating their investigation into the Stacks blockchain, the protocol, and Hiro system, a company with no action. This is huge. There's many layers to this cake or onion we got to peel back here. One is Gary Gensler and the SEC capitulating, given that there is political pressure probably coming in from the Democrats saying, hey, we're losing on all fronts, right? From the macro, Joe Biden is in a bad place right now. I'm not trying to get too political, but I'm just stating the facts. And then Gary Gensler has been taking losses in the courts, and you have the entire crypto industry countersuing him. Members of Congress have been calling him out. Democrats have turned against him and Elizabeth Warren in the House and the Senate, right, to pass the FIT 21 bill to repeal SOB 121. So as I've been saying, Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren are on an island by themselves here because they're losing the support of their own party. So could this be some sort of, okay, we're going to take it easy. We're going to put out some good stuff here that we're not doing any enforcement actions to try to salvage some of the perception that they hate crypto and they're anti-crypto. But I think it's a little bit too late. Elizabeth Warren is the one who created the anti-crypto army campaign slogan and started building her army, right? It had Sherrod Brown and all these clowns part of it. So I think it's a bit too late, but I think there's some capitulation here. The timing is just interesting, right? Given that the Democrats are in a bad spot right now. You had Democrat Congressman Ro Khanna do a crypto roundtable this week to try to help the Biden administration to take it easy here, right? Those things are not happening for fun. They're happening because Democrats are hitting the panic button. Here, Mike Seelig, who is a partner at Wilkie Farr, says another SEC loss. Hiro sold STX, that's the Stacks token, in a regulated A securities offering, then declared STX a non-security given STX Network's decentralization. SEC is now dropping an investigation into STX, seemingly conceding tokens sold in a securities offering aren't necessarily themselves securities. Huge win. This goes back to the ruling from Judge Torres in the Ripple case, right? The tokens themselves are intrinsically not a security. It depends how they're offered up. It depends on the contract. Just like in the Howey case, going back to the 1930s and 40s, it wasn't the oranges you get off a tree or in the supermarket or you have in your home. It's not a orange tree that's somewhere in Florida, but rather Howey's packaging of those orange groves that caused the security alarm bells to go up, right? But Gensler has been, on a tear, lying, ignoring the law, ignoring common sense, because as I've been stating, he has been weaponized by the TradFi incumbents to kill crypto startups and to stop these companies, not kill crypto, because notice that BlackRock, JP Morgan, and all these folks are using crypto. They're using the blockchain technology. So it's not to kill that technology. It's to let these TradFi incumbents catch up. That's the whole game, folks. And it's not specific to the crypto industry. We know that many big companies in different industries, they pay politicians, right? They lobby, they do campaign donations. Well, the crypto industry was like, we're not going to allow this anymore. They raised over $160 million and they started going after the anti-crypto people. So guys, this is huge. And here's what some other people are saying about the BUSD situation. Tyler Winklevoss said the SEC and Gary Gensler are starting to get tired of losing. They just gave up on their sham investigation into the Paxos stablecoin. I wonder if the SEC will reimburse Paxos for tens of millions of dollars they must have cost in time and expense with this bullying and harassing behavior. Gary Gensler and his SEC are a national embarrassment and abomination. Meta Lawman retweeted Tyler and says, and remember, the SEC did not just spontaneously come to its senses that BUSD stablecoin is not a security. Exactly 2 weeks ago, Judge Berman Jackson ruled in the Binance case that the SEC had failed to articulate any plausible claim that BUSD is a security. So guys, two massive wins, one on the stablecoin front and one on the token itself being a security front, right? Stacks, they pretty much say STX is not a security. And from a stablecoin standpoint, remember Gary Gensler was hinting over the years that stablecoins could be securities, which is completely asinine. But guys, we're winning. As I've been saying for a long time, Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren are on the losing side of history. Now, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse highlighted that tomorrow is the anniversary of Judge Torres ruling that XRP is not a security. He says, on July 13, 2023, that day was a very good day for Ripple and the entire industry, and for me personally, a core memory. We had the conviction to fight the bully that has harassed and executed an unlawful war on our industry. As I said when it started, I knew we were on the right side of the law and that we would be on the right side of history. In the year since, Gary Gensler's SEC has ramped up its war on crypto with the false belief that they could smother this technology and industry with failed lawsuits, false rhetoric, slander, and intimidation. They were wrong then and they are wrong now. Well put. So, guys, we're winning. The battle still rages, of course, but I think we're seeing some capitulation here from Gensler and the SEC. Now, quick word from our sponsor, and that is BitGo. BitGo is one of the top tier custodians in the crypto industry, guys. They're working with many big companies and brands across different industries. So they work with Pantera Capital, that's Dan Moorhead, Bitstamp Exchange, Bitcoin IRA. Nike uses BitGo for its wallet services for their NFTs. And the services that BitGo provides includes hot wallets, custodial wallets, self-managed cold wallets, and NFT wallets. If you'd like to learn more about BitGo, go to bitgo.com. Link will be in the description. Now, guys, there's been a lot of drama around the SOB 121 situation, right? That essentially de facto prevents the banks from being able to hold crypto directly. For example, BNY Mellon can't custody any of the Bitcoin for any of the ETFs because there's no clarity. And then the SEC tried to put this unlawful rule in place, which we know the Government Accountability Office said, hey, Congress has to make these rules, not you guys. And Democrats sided with Republicans to repeal this in the House and Senate, but Biden ultimately vetoed it. And the reason he vetoed it is not because he knows anything about crypto, it's because Elizabeth Warren probably made the call and say, hey, don't just veto this thing, right? Because remember, she sent a letter out when the Senate was going to vote. And we were all like, wait, why is she sending this letter out? Because she knew the Democrats had turned against her, but she still had Biden in her back pocket. Well, Eleanor Terry of Fox Business is reporting the following. She says, I reached out to the SEC to ask about the new report that the staff has created exceptions for certain banks and broker-dealers to custody crypto assets. Oh, exceptions, you say? Oh, little Gary Gensler working for his Goldman Sachs Wall Street buddies here. A spokesperson tells me that SOB 121 guidance remains unchanged, but that certain broker dealers and custody banks have sufficiently demonstrated to the SEC staff that their fact patterns are different from those described in SOB 121, such as ensuring that customers maintain ownership of their assets even in the case of a resolution or bankruptcy. Separately, I'm also told, not by the SEC spokesperson, that because SOB 121 is accounting staff guidance, not a rule, the commission has not been privy to the substance of the discussion staff has had with certain banks and broker dealers about this and are currently working to figure that out. Folks, Gary Gensler, trying to help those TradFi buddies, trying to like I said, kill the crypto startups so they can come in and take over. Caitlin Long weighed in on this. She said, SEC leadership extracts revenge on the crypto industry one day after Ro Khanna's White House session by giving the big banks special exceptions from SOB 121 while sidelining crypto companies still subject to it. How are progressives okay with such corporate favoritism? Great question. But guys, this is why I call Gary Gensler a scumbag regulator. I don't call him that just for hyperbole or for jokes. That's what I truly believe. We are dealing with a scumbag. This guy doesn't respect the law. He doesn't respect the SEC's mission. He just respects what his masters on Wall Street are telling him, what Elizabeth Warren is telling him. And that's what we're dealing with. And this is why I keep telling you, we got to fight. Use social media to your advantage. Call up your representatives, make content, and just put the pressure, expose against her, retweet the facts, amplify the facts that we're putting out. Because this is a part of it is a game of narratives, and he's trying to put the narratives out there that are false. He's trying to paint the industry in a certain negative way, right? But we're not going to let it happen, guys. All right, moving ahead, we got some interesting updates here with Tornado Cash. So Amanda Tuminelli of the DeFi Education Fund, I had her on the pod not too long ago. Apparently the judge grants the delay of the Tornado Cash trial. And Amanda says this part, Judge Falia asked whether the charges were comparable to criminally charging the creators of WhatsApp because criminals used it. If Tornado Cash has 1,000 customers and one is a bad actor, are they criminally liable? Boom. Exactly. Logic is winning here, right? Once again, the people who are attacking Tornado Cash are some of the Elizabeth Warren cronies who are in different parts of the federal government. And you can't go after the creator of the platform and hold him accountable for everything that goes wrong, because bad actors exist. They exist in every industry. You can't go after the platform and the person who created it because you had some bad actor use it for a bad purpose, because there are people using it for good purposes. So I'm glad the judge is calling this out. This is a pretty big win. Now, moving ahead, Jake Cherversky said something which I thought was pretty spot on. He says, if someone other than Joe Biden wins the presidency, whoever that might be, U.S. crypto policy could look wildly different in 2025. As a result, many crypto companies are delaying their products, tokens, etc., until after the election. This summer may be even quieter than usual. Hmm. I think that that's a solid point there. We could see companies hold on until the elections are over to see maybe Donald Trump wins, maybe someone else comes in and Biden instead, who is not as crazy about crypto, who ignores Elizabeth Warren. So let's see what happens here, folks. But interesting development there. Now the Ethereum spot ETFs, everybody's waiting for this. Nate Geraci of the ETF store said it appears the SEC is playing the spot Ethereum ETF S1 similar to the 19B-4s. Extremely tight-lipped. Still think approval next week. Absolutely no reason to delay. Eric Balchunas weighed in on this, says, yeah, right now it's all quiet on the Western front regarding the ETH ETFs. Nada from the SEC this week. Unclear why they are taking such sweet ass time. Every issuer is ready. Docs are ready. It's like a rain delay in baseball. Gotta just wait. Maybe things will move fast next week. We'll see. So essentially, there are no roadblocks here. Everything is in. All the issuers did what they had to do, made their amendments, updated their applications. And I've been saying we could see something by the middle of the month. The 15th would be, I think it's Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that'll be Monday. So we could see as soon as next week the approvals of these ETFs. Germany has finished selling their Bitcoin. So we could see the market rally off of this. I'm not saying new all-time highs, just bounce and do a reversal, a V-shaped recovery out of this pullback. So be prepared, guys. I think that could be a catalyst, and we could see the approvals next week. That's not a guarantee, obviously, and we'll have to wait and see. Final item here. There's some big news around Abra, the crypto app. And I had Bill Barhydt, the founder, on, I think, a couple of months ago. But essentially, crypto trading platform Abra said it acquired several private cryptocurrency trusts from Valkyrie Investments. So Bill tweeted out saying they acquired trusts including Bitcoin, Tron, and Zilliqa. So he says, stay tuned. So sounds like big stuff. These are signs of a bull market, guys. Liquidity coming in, mergers, acquisitions, partnerships, global expansions. So this is why I look at the market holistically: charts, fundamentals, what are players doing, what's the global liquidity look like, and all these things. So very bullish news. Guys, let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Do you think Gary Gensler and the SEC are capitulating here, given they're losing the outside pressure of the Democrats and Biden's situation right now? Let me know what you think. And guys, don't forget to grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto. Grab a copy to support the podcast. It's available in paperback and digital on Amazon. Also, grab a couple copies for your friends and family who want to learn about crypto. If you've bought a copy already, please leave a rating and review. It would really help me out. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.